Story time. So, it's a young lady that I know, and she's having some issues with her son. Now, of course, I do mentorships with young men, but this young lady, she's out of town. So, she calls me, to get advice on dealing, with her son. Now, she does say her son has some issues, maybe a little autistic, but her son is 19 years old. So keep that in mind. He's not a child. He's 19. So anyways, she calls me one day and she says, she's upset. She like, she got to my son. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. It's just getting out of control. He going to have to go live with his daddy. So what happened? So she's like, I told him last night to take out the trash. And the morning comes, I hear the trash, I hear the trash people outside. I look outside, my trash cans ain't outside. He like, so I go, I call my son. He's not answering the phone. I know he's upstairs in the house. So I tell his sister, go wake him up, tell him to take out the trash. So I guess the sister goes to wake him up and he gets up with an attitude, right? So he gets up, talking crazy to his mom because I guess she said, hey, didn't I tell you to take out the trash last night? Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, what's going on? And he snapped back at her like, this the type of shit from what I said. I don't know exactly what he said, but he says things along the lines of, this the type of shit I'm talking about. You don't know how to talk to people. And you know what I'm saying? That's why I ain't do it because you talk to me crazy and this, that, and this, and woo, 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 right? So as a father, you already know when she telling me this shit, my brain is, I'm like, oh yeah, that nigga I would have downed him. Easy. No problem. He would have, nigga, no way in hell, right? So, she's like, he disrespected me. I'm upset. I'm hurt. I don't know what I'm going to do about him. I said, girl, what? Nigga's 19 years old. You kick his ass. What is you talking about? Like, what? Are you serious? I'm like, there's no way that a child of mine would be that bold enough to disrespect me to my face. You know why? Because throughout the years, I've taught my children that if you disrespect me, there is a consequence to that. Every time. Like, not just one, like, every time you disrespect me, you're going to suffer a consequence. Whether it be a backhand, a front hand, you're going to get slapped. So, when she told me that, I'm like, yo, you missed your opportunity. You see what I'm saying? Like, you, in my opinion, when you're dealing with your children, there is no room for, like I said, there's no, you gotta act immediately. So when I say that, I mean, I'm like, yo, as soon as he said something disrespectful to you, you should have smacked the shit out of him. Like, flat out. As soon as he said, oh, that's what I'm talking about, you, whop, I would have smacked the shit out of him. What you say? Say it again. I dare you. I dare you to say it again. And if you would have said it again, his ass would have got smacked again, right? So I told her, your children are scared of you. I mean, they're not scared of you. They think that you scared of them. And that's why he talked to you like that, because he think that you ain't gonna do shit. That's what, flat out. Like, he think that you a sucker. That's what it is. But once again, he's 19 years old. He's a grown man. So he can literally get the fuck out. But if you don't want to put him out, then he has to respect you. And if he doesn't respect you, then you got to put hands and feet on that nigga. Like, there's no discrepancy in that. And then, she like, well, I don't want to beat him. I don't want to abuse. I said, girl, he is 19 years old. At that day, at 19, you talking to me like that is just like a nigga off the street talking to me like that. Now, if you was 17, I still put my hands and feet on you. But at 19, and you living in my house, eating my food, wearing the clothes I bought you and shit, you ain't got no job, nigga? Are you serious? I would have jumped on that nigga like a trampoline. I'm telling you, like, there's no way he would have, man. So, what I'm saying is, the point of the story is, you got to act and you got to act fast. When your children disrespect you, you don't let that shit slide. Like, there's no nigga, hell no. They cuss at you, talk to you crazy, raise their voice, any of that shit. They immediately need to be checked. Whether it's a front, whether it's a backhand, open hand, I don't care how you check them. But you got to check them. Because if you don't check them, then that gives them the green light to do that shit again. Period. You let your child cuss at you and disrespect you once without smacking the shit out of him, then guess what? He gonna do it again. He gonna keep doing it until you put hands and feet on him. I'm telling you, like, I'm just giving you some game because, you know, I feel like we always have this conversation about single women, you know, raising young men, and can they do it? And I agree that, you know, some women can. Some women can definitely raise, you know, men to be, you know, upstanding citizens and all that good shit, you know, by themselves. But some of these women can't. You know what I mean? And the reason that they can't is because they have no understanding of what being a man is really about. And they don't, since they don't understand about being a man, then there's a lot of little nuances that they're going to miss when raising this child. Another example, and this is an example of the nuances that women don't, not all women, but some women would I feel would miss or wouldn't acknowledge unless there was a man there, and you know, a man would acknowledge something like this, I believe. So I was talking to another young lady, and she was telling me about, you know, one of her nephews, and she said that you know, he, you know, I think we were talking about, you know, gays and things of that nature. So you know, her nephew's gay, and she was saying, like, you know, I don't know what it was, but when he was little, I just, you know, because he was so cute. Like, he was so pretty. Like, he was just a little pretty boy. And everybody used to call him cute. Everybody, everywhere he went, everybody called him cute. Everybody. Just, he go to church. Oh, he's such a cutie. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. He's so cute. So when she told me that, she's like, you know, and also telling me today that, you know, he's, you know, gay. I'm like, you know, that in itself probably played a part, maybe not a big part, but it definitely played a part in him and his decision on his sexuality. And the reason that I say that is because, first off, I don't call my son cute. Like, I wouldn't call I wouldn't call a grown man cute. Like, cute is a word reserved for little girls. Women, that is a feminine term, honestly. Now, yes, you can call a boy cute if you want to, but once again, my thing is, with this young man who is now gay, if they were calling him cute all the time, like every time somebody seen him, he was, oh, you're so cute, you're so cute, you're so cute, you're so cute. And then he sees you call a little girl cute, then that is, in my opinion, in a young person's mind, that may be a little confusing. That may be a little, that may make a young man who doesn't have any identity or anything like that, make him feel like his identity should be maybe feminine because everybody is calling him a feminine word, right? And as a child, that's all he's hearing is, you cute, you cute, you cute. Oh, you the cutest. He a cutie, he a cutie. And then when you go around girls, she cute, she cute, she a cutie, she a cutie, she a cutie. So I'm not saying that's the reason he's gay. I'm sorry, I'm just not saying that. But what I'm saying is little nuances like that, in my opinion, are the reason that these young kids can be confused about their sexuality. Like, I make it a thing, like, it's nobody, you know, if somebody was to come up and be like, my son is cute, I'd be like, no, he's not cute, he's handsome. My son's handsome. He's a handsome young man. That's what I want you to call my son, handsome. Don't call my son cute, because cute is reserved for little girls. Call him handsome. Handsome is reserved for little boys. Now, once again, if you guys want to get into terms and all the other gender, and I ain't, listen, period. I'm going to call my son handsome because I want him to understand, I'm calling my son handsome so that he knows he's a young man and young men are handsome. He'll never hear somebody call a little girl handsome. So he'll never have any confusion on, why is that little girl handsome and I'm handsome too? Like, there'll never be no confusion on that. There'll be a strong line in the middle of, I'm handsome, she's cute. So, nuances. It'd be little things that, in my opinion, unfortunately, are missed in raising these young men that ultimately may lead them, down the way of homosexuality. Now, they also say things about, children having issues and, abuse when they're young and things of that nature. And that's, I've heard that's very probable as well. But, I'm just speaking about things that mothers can do, raising their sons, and certain things that they should watch out for raising their sons, so that he has a mentality more of a man than of a woman. Because once again, another reason why I say a lot of these young men are growing up more feminine is because, once again, if you don't have a man in the house and you don't have an example of a man, then, you know what I'm saying, the only move you got is to act like your mother. And I've dated a lot of young ladies who have, a lot of single moms who have little boys. And I can tell you, it's wild out there. Okay? It is. Like, I came across one chick one time, and I believe her son might have been 4 or 5, and he was still sitting down to pee. And I was like, yo, when I told her, I'm like, hey, you should be teaching him to stand up and pee, because that's what men do. Men stand up and pee. She like, well, ain't no man around here, so he don't know, he ain't gonna know. Well, just because ain't no man around here don't mean he ain't gonna know. If you tell him, if you teach him, you should teach him how to be a man. Like, that's part of, being a parent. Like, unfortunately, you're a single parent, but, if you can give him some tips and tricks on, being a man and doing manly things, it would definitely help him from being so much like you. Because you shouldn't want your son to be sitting down peeing like you. The fuck? Like, I taught my son how to stand up. My son, and once again, these are just nuances. But I remember my son did the same thing when maybe he was like, when he was getting potty trained 2 or 3. Yeah, he was sitting down to pee because that's all he knew. But, once he got to a point where, I'm like, all right, bro, you tall enough to piss in this, or, yeah, I waited till he was tall enough to use the toilet. He always had to sit, never, So when he was tall enough to use the toilet and stand up in front of the toilet and piss, standing up, and that's what he started doing. I mean, because that's what men do. That's what males do. So, I've seen these different situations with women. And of course I say something, some of them get mad. Some of them think I'm being too, too mean or something. But I just be like, yo, I just want your son to grow up and be a strong, black man who can help his community and do his thing, and not grow up and be confused about his sexuality and all the other crazy shit that you may have to go through if you don't catch some of this stuff when they're young. So, appreciate the love. Make sure you guys click the link in the bio. Like, subscribe, know what to do. Peace.